VOA, 18th of March 2024, China disdains from Mideast unrest despite offers to mediate. China's influence in the Middle East is restricted since religion precedes the economy there. China has long aimed to become more visible in the Middle East by offering to mediate crises and disputes, yet, some argue Beijing's limited engagement in the Gaza war demonstrates Beijing's continued prioritization of its interests. Yun Sun, the head of the China program at the Stimson Center in Washington, recently wrote in Nye in Foreign Policy magazine that China's participation in mediating the Saudi-Iran rapprochement last year aroused optimism that it may find a solution to diffuse tensions in the Middle East. Instead, she declared, China has failed to deliver on that success. According to Sun and other analysts, China's economy is heavily dependent on Gulf crude oil, and since the region supplies 53% of Beijing's energy needs, Middle East stability is crucial. According to Sun, China has power because it has long positioned itself as a customer and client of Middle Eastern oil, but without the burden for China to provide peace. At the Naif Arab University for Security Sciences in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Hisham Al-Ghanem oversees the strategic studies and national security programs. He recently commended China's shared views with Arab governments, including advocating for a ceasefire early in the Gaza conflict, during a speech at an online conference hosted by the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. However, Al-Ghanem noted that China's influence in Middle Eastern politics remains limited. He declared that China's interest in the Middle East is not fundamental, and I believe there is no need to overstate China's influence and authority in the region. Unlike the United States, China does not have a comprehensive security plan that tackles the primary security issues in the area, such as putting an end to the Gaza conflict. China did not provide us with what we had anticipated. China hasn't done anything to seriously stop the conflict in Gaza, for example, up until now. China put pressure on Iran over Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, according to a study by Ahmed Aboudwa, an associate fellow with Chatham House Middle East program in London, but only to protect its ships. He continues, saying that to safeguard international commercial ships in the area, Beijing will not use its limited influence to support the U.S. agenda. China's actions were solely directed at obtaining assurances to safeguard its immediate interests. According to Aboudwa, Beijing had no intention of jeopardizing its reputation by advocating for a complete de-escalation in the Red Sea. He makes the point that the Houthis granted immunity to Chinese and Russian ships as a result of China's threats. Because it cannot afford other options, China has taken a low-risk, wait-and-see approach, according to Aboudwa. They don't want to be compelled to launch a major policy change and attack just because a Chinese ship was sunk or severely damaged. Professor Di Gangsun heads the Middle East Studies Department of Shanghai's Fudan University in China. He described China as its greatest commercial and investment partner in the Middle East and told an online Chatham House panel that China saw the emergence of non-state actors, like the Houthis, as a direct threat to its interests in the region. China claims that the United States cannot exit the Middle East. He stated that the United States is essential to the Middle East because it can act as a stabilizing influence for China and the rest of the globe. He continues by saying that the emergence of non-state actors in the Middle East is the outcome of a governance deficit and that Beijing wants to send a signal to the U.S. that China is not a U.S. rival, but a U.S. partner in Middle Eastern governance. Sun thinks that by working together on Middle Eastern security issues, the U.S. and China can make up for this shortfall.